Okay, hi guys. We are so excited to do this Zoom. This is unlike any Zoom that I have ever done before, and I am just so blessed to do it with Adriana. So, this Zoom is actually called the process of progress. And I'm actually really excited to just start with our stories and really just kind of share a little bit about like each other because maybe you know me, but you don't know Adriana or vice versa. So, I did want to share a little bit of our stories. So, I'll go first. Hi guys, I'm Haley. I joined this business 3.5 years ago because I didn't have enough money for my groceries. I was a broke recent graduate and I was about to go to grad school. I was working 2 to 3 part-time jobs and I just felt like I just couldn't make ends meet. Like no matter what I did, I was always like feeling like I was broke or I had to say no to going out with my friends or going out on a date night. And so I saw this business as an opportunity to not only help myself, but help other people right off the bat. And I was like, I need to like get a part of this biz. So I got started and I literally just started running with it. Like the minute that I got started, I was so focused on just obviously talking to as many people as possible. Even though I had less than 200 followers and friends combined, I didn't care what it took. I was like, let me talk to 1,000 people. I don't even know how I'm going to reach that many people, but I'm just going to keep trying and keep talking to as many people as possible. And I met my first goal in 72 hours. I literally got 4 customers signed up on the spot and I was so excited. And then right after that, I realized like, oh my gosh, I want more. Like, I don't want to just like, get these customers. Like, I want to make a monthly income for myself every single month. And so I actually ran towards the rank of Ruby because there was a $1,000 bonus on the table at the time. And so I was like, okay, like I'm going to make that happen. And I did it in 45 days. I literally did it. So I made all these goals for myself and I didn't just write them down, but I told people about it, right? Like I literally told now my husband and my boyfriend at the time that I was going to do it. I told my mom, I told my family, I told even people who didn't support me that I was going to hit these goals and I worked towards them and I hit them. And then right after I went Ruby, I kind of stayed complacent because I was like, holy crap, $500 a month on average. Like I'm so rich. Like this is so much money. This is more than I thought I was going to get. So I stayed really complacent after I hit that. And for 6 months, I was actually like miserable at school. Drop a one if you have ever been miserable at a job or school or anything, and it just kind of like sucks the life out of you. And that's how I felt with all my jobs and school. I just really felt like honestly so exhausted. And I was like, I don't think this is like what I'm meant to do. Like, I remember telling people, like, I think I'm supposed to like change lives on like a global scale. And they're like, Haley, wow, like, you're crazy. Like, no, that's not what that is. Like, you can't do that doing what you want to do, which I was going to school for forensics. They were like, you can't do that. And I was like, well, I think I'm meant to. And they're like, well, I don't think you should be in forensics. And I'm like, you know what? You're right. And so I went to conference. How many of you are so hyped for conference? Drop a 2 in the chat. I'm so excited for you guys to experience conference because I went to conference and I saw all these women with all these different stories. And, one had 7 kids and one was in, obviously just got out of like rehab and was in recovery. And then I also saw another lady who literally was in grad school still and was working a job, but then also still doing this. Like there were so many women up there with different stories and they were all successful. They were all doing amazing things. And I was like, wow, if all these girls can do this, why not me? Right? That was my first thought when I was sitting up there in the nosebleed bleachers. I was like, why not me too? Like, why can't I do that? They're not different from me. They're all different from each other. So why not me? I'm different too. And so I remember I went home and I looked Alex in the eyes and I was like, I'm leaving my jobs and I'm leaving school. And he was like, you're joking, right? And I was like, no, I'm serious. I was like, I'm going to do it. And I literally 5 times my income in 3 months, all because of this business and all because I had the vision to go and actually go after what I needed. And I knew that that rent wasn't going to get paid if I didn't do the work. I also knew that no one was coming to save me. And so I stepped up and I was like, I'm going to do this for myself. And then in the last year after that, right? So I went double diamond and I realized, whoa, if I want to like move forward at all in my life, I need to help other people. That was a really big like moment for me that I need to help others. So I got serious about bringing in girls and helping them change their lives because of this business. And I'm so blessed that I obviously helped so many people. My team has grown so much in the last year and a half that it is mind blowing to me, because when I went double diamond, I literally didn't have anybody working on my team. And now I have so many leaders, so many incredible women that I talk to that are honestly some of my best friends to this day. And I'm so grateful for all of them. And, you know, now I live in Florida. I was living in Maryland, but I didn't want to live there anymore. So I moved to Florida. No, nothing against anybody that lives in Maryland, but I wanted to move to Florida, be by the beach. And I'm so grateful because now I've met my best friends here. I have a community of women. I was by myself in Maryland. So it's just like, it's totally different. My life is so different than it was 3.5 years ago. And I'm so grateful for all of this growth that I've had. And honestly, in the last year, guys, I can say that I have grown so close to God in that time, because God had to remove people from my life to show that I need him and I need to talk to him and I needed to be with him every single day. And I'm just so grateful that that happened to me, because I don't know where I would be if I didn't have God in my life every single day to talk to. So, Adriana, I'm going to let you go ahead and tell your story because it is just so good, so moving. So I'm going to let you take the floor, babe.
Okay, you can hear me, right?
Yeah, you're good.
So my story is a lot different than Haley's. And if I don't know if any of you know me, some of you don't, some of you do. If you have, it was probably from a long time ago because I don't speak much, but I'm trying to change that this year. So basically my story goes, I'm a presidential diamond right now, but I joined the business 5 years ago. So 5 years ago, I was living in Florida and my family was living in Connecticut. And one day I got a call from my sister who just joined the business with Nyara, who all of you know. And she's like, oh my gosh, you have to join this business. And I've never heard of It Works or network marketing, like Instagram is new. And she's like, oh my gosh, I joined this business. It's $99. Like, you have to start. I'm going to make so much money. And like, that's the first thing that she said to me. I'm like, okay, you're going to make so much money. And at first I was like, no, not interested. And she kept calling me and like asking me to do it. She goes, please just sign up, just do it. And I was like, fine, I'll do it because you keep harassing me to do it. So I signed up, I did it. I was one of those people that was, first of all, didn't believe in it when I first saw it, even though my own sister was doing it. And I was very in and out. So I would start the business. I worked a couple of months, I went Ruby, and then I quit. So I was like that for maybe like a year or two. I was in and out. I was very in and out in the business. I would work and I would get like some customers and I'd be like, this is so exciting. And then I'm like, not really, like not into it. But the reason why I wasn't into it and why I couldn't fully get into the business is because I was in an abusive relationship. So I was living in Florida with a guy who was not a good guy. And I was living with him and it was just bad. It was a toxic environment. When you're in an environment like that, and I know a lot of people have been, whether it's family or friends or a relationship, like it's hard to make your own decisions and just like be normal and just do the things of life. And I couldn't, because I always had someone in my ear like manipulating me and telling me to do something else. And so what happened was I was in and out until I finally left him and I went to Connecticut. And basically it was like do or die for me. So I had two options. I dropped out of college. It was like my sister opened up her home to me. I didn't even have anywhere to live. She's like, you can live with me, but you either have to go to college and get a job, or you have to do It Works and get a job and work and like start your life. And I wasn't passionate about anything. I don't know if any of you guys can relate to that. Like being in college, like it just wasn't for me. Nothing in there was, drop a one if college was not for you. Like you weren't passionate about anything. School not for me. Going to classes isn't for me. I don't want to be a nurse. I don't want to be an accountant. I don't want to do any of that, but I want to do something with my life. And so for me, it was, I saw Cassie, I saw Nyara, I saw Nicole, like I saw all these girls who were doing so well in the business. And like, I didn't know how I would do it, but I just looked at them and I'm like, well, if they can do it, I can do it too. So like I said, it was like kind of like do or die for me. And I was like, you know what, at school, I'm going full force with the business. I did get like a nannying job to make up for my income until I went diamond. And so I was like, okay, my goal is to go do this job until I replace diamond. And once I get to diamond, I'm going full force and I'm going to hit the ground running. And that's kind of what I did. And I feel like the most important part, obviously, besides getting away from the toxic relationship, and if you're in a situation like that, I would just like plead you to like get out of it, because that's what you need to do. That's what I needed to do. That's where I found God, or God found me. But what I was going to say, sorry, I got off course, was what was really important for me in this time was being surrounded by other girls that were doing what I was doing and going where I was going. So if you are in this business and you don't have people around you, like getting on the Zoom is step one, right? And then like getting people around you, like people that live near you, or getting on FaceTime, that people that have the same vision as you, like, and are doing the business and are going to guide you in the right direction. And that's what saved me, honestly, were the girls, and just looking at them and being like, I can do that too. Like there's no difference between them and me. And here I am. Oh wait, I forgot to mention, he also left me with a ton of debt. I had $30,000 in student loans. Um, and I paid it all off. And I even paid off some of his debt because it was connected to my name. But yeah, so that's my story. And here I am.
Freaking amazing. I love that. Can we give her so much love in the chat? Like that is so amazing. And honestly, just the fact that like you came out so much stronger because of that. And like you are one of the most inspiring women that I know. And I'm just so grateful to know you. And honestly, it's just such a blessing, like hearing your story and hearing you share it and being so vulnerable about it. And like so many girls were saying that they're in a similar situation or they know exactly how you felt. So it's so nice to know that even though our stories are so different and we are so different, we all have something in common. We've all been through something. We all have a story. And I love just hearing everybody's stories when they tell it. So I'm going to let you go ahead and share. Basically, I know you have something that you really wanted to share that you heard today. So I'm going to let you take off and share that because that was just really powerful hearing that from you today. So I want you to start with that.
Yeah. Okay. So before I get into it, this is really random, but I was taking a shower today and I listened to my worship music when I'm in the shower. I don't know if anyone else does that. And it was funny because I said to God, I'm like, you know what? I listen to the same worship songs like on repeat. I'm going to go in my worship album and I'm going to press shuffle. And I literally said to God out loud, I'm like, play a song you want me to hear. And I went on shuffle and the song Run to the Father came on. And I was like, oh, that's a good one. Like I literally have dialogue like that with God. Like he's my best friend. Like that's how we talk. And that might sound foreign to some people, but that's just how I do it. And honestly, that's how it was meant to be, like a relationship. And it's funny because if you listen, he always talks back. So I was in the shower and I was singing the song. If you guys don't know, it's called Run to the Father. You should listen to it. It's good. I'm singing the song and then one part just like jumps out at me. And I like almost like felt it in my spirit. And I was like, I need to share this tonight before like I start talking. And it's very short, but just listen. It says, my heart has been in your sights long before my first breath. Running into your arms is like running to life from death. And the reason why that stuck out to me so much and why I wanted to share it with you guys, like before we started even talking, is because God has been searching for not just me, but for every single one of us on this Zoom before we were even born. And Haley's going to share with us a psalm. It's called 139. It's Psalm 139. And in that psalm, God says, I knit you together in your mother's womb. So God knew you before you even took a breath. And to me, it's just so powerful because living in this world, like we're around worldly stuff, we're around bad things. But when we run to the Father, when we run to God, you're running to life, like you're running to goodness, you're running to joy, you're running to all of those things. And that's why we're doing this Zoom today, just to like share that with you. And it's not just for me and it's not just for Haley, it's for all of us. So yeah, I wanted to share that. I think that you should share 139 so they could hear that now. And then I'll go into what I was going to say.
I love that so much. I definitely will. I added that song to my playlist after she said that to me, guys. I was like, that song is so good. And so I added it to my playlist and you guys can obviously see that too. But yes, so Psalm 139, it says, oh yes, you shaped me first inside then out. You formed me in my mother's womb. I thank you, high God, you're breathtaking. Body and soul, I am marvelously made. I worship in adoration. What a creation. You know me from the inside and out. You know every bone in my body. You know exactly how I was made bit by bit and how I was sculpted from nothing into something. Like an open book, you've watched me grow from conception to birth. All the stages of my life were spread out before you. The days of my life all prepared before I'd even lived just one day. And I love that so much. I think one of my favorite lines in that is like, you know me inside and out, meaning like he knows your heart. He knows exactly what you want to do with your life. He knows your vision. He knows what you want. And I feel like so many times, like, we think we know what we want, right? Like, drop a one if you're like, yes, I know what I want. I know like where I'm supposed to be. I know I'm here for a reason. Like, you know all these things, right? But I think we can get caught up and we can feel like stuck. We can literally feel like, I don't know where to go from here. Like, how do I keep moving forward, right? Even in your day-to-day life with the business, like, you're working, right? You're posting, you're messaging, you're following, you're getting up the host posts, like you're getting up the TikToks, you're doing all the things, but somehow, some way, you still feel stuck and like you don't know where you're going. Rest in the fact that God already has your entire journey planned out, and everything that he does is for good. So at the end of the day, he knows where you're going and he knows that you're going to get there. It's just always in his timing. And we can get frustrated and we can get upset that, oh my gosh, I don't know when this is going to happen, or when the next promotion, or when you're going to enroll your next distributor, or, when am I going to get that house that I've been wanting, or get that puppy dog, or whatever it may be. Like, you guys always want the next thing, but I think it's good to trust in his timing and always trust that he's had your whole life planned out. It says the days of my life are all prepared before I'd even lived just one day. And I think that is so powerful because he's got every single day planned out. So there's no need to worry. So if you guys want to see the change, you have to be willing to be that agent of change. I feel like so many times, like I said in the beginning, we want this change, right? We know what we want, right? All of you just ones, you know what you want, but you have to actually be, and I'm going to let Adriana speak on this, is discipline. You have to be disciplined enough to actually do the things every day that you know that you need to do to see that change, to see that vision come to life. So I'm going to let you talk just a little bit on discipline, and then I'll just kind of like feed off of what you're saying and go from there.
Okay. So first of all, before I go into that, I know you guys have probably like heard the saying before, God doesn't call the qualified, he qualifies the call. And I just feel like that's so important. I know a lot of you are like new to your faith, and some of you have read the Bible and some of you haven't, but I suggest that you do. But when you do, you're going to start to see these amazing stories of these normal people that do amazing things for God. And 99% of the time, the people that he picks to do these things are the people that you would think are the least qualified. So like the people in life that you would think the least of, those are the ones that God wants to use. And I feel like, especially now, it could be discouraging, whether it's the business or in life, to see someone who is a high rank or someone who has high status or a lot of followers or TikTok famous, and be like, wow, like I wish like God can do that for me. I wish that I could have such an influence. I wish, but I'm just not qualified or to be that. I just feel like people glorify the person that did something great when really they should be glorifying God who did that for the person, and also know if God can do that for someone else, if God can help Cassie Westland go ambassador, God can help me go ambassador. Do you know what I mean? And just any one of you. So it's not the person that's amazing, it's the God that's amazing behind the person. And he can use you, and I'm no one special. I know he could use me, and same with Haley and all you guys too. So one thing I did want to say first is drop one if you ever felt like you are running in a circle, going nowhere fast, or if you're working and working and working and nothing's happening.
I just dropped a one like so fast. Like while you were speaking, I was like, 111. That's definitely been me.
And I mean, in your business, I mean, in life, you're like, God, every day feels the same. I feel like I'm running in a circle. I don't know what I'm meant to do. I'm not enrolling. Like, I'm working, but it feels like nothing's happening. I feel like that happens to all of us, first of all, like that happens to me too. And also, I feel like it's important to know that without God in your grind, you're going to be running in circles and you're not going to be running in a specific direction. So could there be times in your business where you're working really hard and it's going really, really well, and then it kind of like fizzles out and it doesn't ever feel like you're at a steady pace? At least for me, I feel like that happens to me when I lose sight of what I'm doing and lose sight of my value and who is in charge and why am I doing this. So when I know that I'm helping people in the business, and the next person I enroll, I'm going to be helping them get out of debt, and like there's purpose and there's value, and I'm praying before I go to work, and I'm not just going to work and just going on my phone, like I'm being intentional and seeking God first, I feel like everything's different because now you have value, and our value comes from the Lord. Like value doesn't come from money. Value doesn't come from hard work. The grind is important, but if you're just grinding and grinding and grinding, you're just going to be going like this. You won't be going like this. You know what I mean? So I just feel like if you don't have a target, you're aiming for nothing. And I feel like the only target that is long lasting and real is God. And I mean, everybody's different. We're all different. We all come from walks of life. You might be looking at me and be like, this girl's crazy. But at the end of the day, it all points back to Jesus. And whether you know that now or that comes clear later, it's just the truth. So, I mean, is there anything that you wanted to add that?
Yeah, I love that so much. I feel like for me, like you said, like I was running around in circles like in 2020. So right before, sorry, I have like something in my eye. Oh my gosh. Right before I went triple, I went through this really weird phase in my life where like I was like kind of like lacking friends, like in a way. Have you guys ever had a moment where like you felt like you were showing up more for a friendship than like the other person was? Like drop a two if you've ever had that in your whole life. Like I felt like that a lot with a lot of my friendships, and I didn't understand why. And it was like right at the time, right before I went triple, and there was this moment where I literally just felt like I didn't have like anybody, like any close friends anymore, anybody to go to. And I don't know why, but in that moment, I was like, I think I'm kind of tired of running in circles. And I think I'm just like ready to start talking to God about this. Like I'm ready to start just praying, like stop praying about like, hey, can you make my business better? That would be great. Thank you so much. I'd really love a customer today. Like, how many of you have gotten desperate and you're like, please God, just bring me anybody tonight. I'll be so grateful if you do. Like, been there, done that. I'm not ashamed to say that I have, like I've been there, and I can tell you right now that like, I feel like for me, like giving that time to him and being like, you know what, I'm actually ready to have like a relationship with you. I'm ready for, like you said, Adriana, in the beginning, like for you to be my best friend, and I want to talk to you every single day. I don't just want to come to you when things are going wrong. I want to come to you when things are going right and say thank you. I want to talk to you every single day and ask you, what do you think I should do about something super small? You know what I mean? Like have that regular conversation with him. And so I personally felt like I was going in circles with my friendships, and I didn't get better and like as a friend, and obviously like have more valuable friendships come into my life until I gave them to God. So if there's something that you want to see changed, I recommend that you bring it to God first, because at the end of the day, like, he can't bless what you don't ask for, right? So I know for a fact that asking is super important. I definitely wrote that down, that you have to make sure that you're asking for what you want, because at the end of the day, like I know for a fact that like I don't know if you guys have ever read the prayer of Jabez, but it even says like there's this story, basically it's called Mr. Jones Goes to Heaven. I don't know if you guys have ever read that story. Most powerful story in that book that I've ever read. And it's when, yeah, literally, it's so good. And so I remember when he gets up there and he opens this box, and it's like all the blessings that like he could have had, but he never asked for. And it just honestly like makes me look back and I'm like, wow, like I don't want to spend another day not asking for an incredible blessing that I could have and giving that to him, because I know that if anybody can do it, he can do it, right? He can prepare it for me. So I also wanted to say really quick that don't be afraid to ask for more in your life. Okay, because I feel like so many of us, it's called the prayer of Jabez. I'll write it in there, Nicole. But a lot of us, like Mr. Jones, are nervous to ask for more in our lives, right? Because we're like, oh, like we're just like called to be us. I'm not like Adriana said, like, I don't know if I could go ambassador diamond like Cassie Westland. Like, I don't know if that's for me. But have you ever asked? Have you ever talked about it? Have you ever like really brought it to him and be like, this is something that I really want to do? And at the end of the day, there's nothing special about any one of us, right? We're all made in his image. And at the end of the day, I know that we're all called to be more. You're not called to settle. And it says that in the Bible. It literally says in John 10:10, I've come that they may have life and have it to the fullest. It says to the fullest because you're not supposed to be average. You're supposed to have so much more. So I just wanted to say that really quick. You can definitely keep going. I just had to chime in on that because I just wanted you guys to know that you're called for so much more.
Right. I also feel like to kind of like piggyback off what you were saying about like working, I feel like a lot of us too are waiting for God to do something when God is actually waiting for you to do something. So I think we've all heard like the faith without works is dead. So you can't just have faith and sit here and be like, I have faith, God's going to take care of this. It's all good. Like, no, you have to actually work. You have to put the work in, and like God will bless your efforts. Like, it's going to be hard work to go Ambassador Diamond. And Cassie didn't just float there. Like, she worked hard to get there, but she also had the hand of God on her, blessing her and helping her every step of the way. And you can't expect to bless the work that you're not willing to put in. Are you willing to work like an Ambassador Diamond? Are you willing to work like a double diamond? Are you willing to work like a triple diamond? Are you willing to work like a diamond? I mean, all of it's hard work, right? And you can't sit there and ask God, please bless this and like in your name, amen. Like, you can't do that. Like, if you're on TikTok, like, it's funny because Haley actually sent me this video. And I wasn't going to talk about this, but I felt like it was like super important. It was like a girl having dialogue with herself and God. And God's like, hey, like, I miss you. Like, where have you been? Like, and the girl's like, oh, I'm just on TikTok. And like, God's like, well, I would like to spend time with you. Like, I miss you. And like, she's ignoring him. And it's sad, but it's true. And like, I'm guilty of that too. Like, I'm not perfect. And it just like puts it into perspective. Like, God is a gentleman. Okay. God will never enter somewhere where he is not invited. And he will knock on the door, but you have to answer. And if you don't, I mean, I don't even know what to say, but you got to open the door for him. You know what I mean? So, and also too, you have being spiritual and like growing your faith is like a muscle. Like, my grandma always talks about this, your spiritual muscle, and also talks about how the Bible is your food and your water. So like, I wouldn't wake up and not all day eat or drink. So why am I going to wake up and go all day without getting my nutrients? And this is like our nutrients. This is what keeps us going, like mentally, spiritually, physically. And like, if you're not going to go all day without eating, consider the Bible the same thing. That's what you're eating. That's what's going inside of you. Also, another thing too that I feel like is really important is like what you're connected to. So your external strength is always connected to your internal source. So what are you connected to? And when I say this, I mean, what are you watching? What are you looking at on TikTok? What are you listening to? Especially, what are you listening to? Music has a big impact on our lives. Whether you realize it or not, it does. It goes into your subconscious mind, and music industry is not good. Okay, so just trust me. And you repeat these things. And also too, you have to realize that your words have power. And the Bible says the power of life and death is on your tongue. So even if it's like a rap song that's like, you're literally cursing your life, some of the songs, like, they're not good. And when you speak these positive things, speak like the word of God over your life, you're literally like prophesizing like the blessings of God over your life when you say these good and positive things. So I feel like that's super important, like in your life and in your business, to just speak positive over yourself and over your business. And I feel like I lost track, so I don't know where I'm even talking. So you can go next.
No, I was just about to jump in, because how many of us catch ourselves, drop a one, when you talk negative about yourself or your business, and you say like, oh, like that customer didn't order, or like, oh my gosh, I don't even like look that good in this swimming suit. I'm guilty. Okay. This is me dropping like tons of ones. I have easily said bad things about myself or my business. And little do I know that has so much impact, right? Like, you don't think anything of it. You think like, oh, I'm just letting out my frustrations. It's fine. But you know what you need? Because we have minds to control our thoughts. We just let them slip right out, right? You know what you really need, or you can start being in your group of friends, is you need a friend to be like, hey, don't say that. Don't say that, right? You guys and you may have to show up like that in your friend group. But what you say over yourself and your business is so dang powerful, and it will start to impact everything around you. You know what I'm saying? And if you want like better friends, this goes back into like obviously, what I said about like willing to be the agent of change, like make sure that you show up as that. If you want to be changed, it starts with you. And you guys have heard that, right? It starts with you. It starts with you. But it truly does. Even just the little things like being in like the middle of a friend group and people, they all like talking bad about like how bad their business is going. You can be like, guys, let's not say that. Like, we're all going to get a customer today. Like, that can change just one of those girls' lives and the way that they think about their business. But it starts with you, right? And more of those people will enter your life. And I noticed that when it started with me and I started doing that. And now I have a circle of friends that not only lifts me up, but is there for me in a time when I am being a little negative, right? Because we all get like that, And so just know that, everything that you say ends up turning into your future, right? So you guys have to speak life over yourself and know that, also I have to say this because I feel like so many of us will say this about our ranks and be like, oh my gosh, I'm still a triple. I'm still a diamond. I'm still a ruby. Well, guess what? You're going to still be there unless you start focusing on the vision that you want going forward, right? If you want to go to the next level, why don't you start talking about that instead of opening up your e-suite and being disappointed, right? Why don't you be happy that, you have a girl that joined your team that is killing it and has already gotten 2 customers. Let that fill you up rather than focusing on all the things. And I wasn't going to talk about this, but it just kind of came to me. Instead of focusing on all the things that God isn't doing in your life, why don't you focus on all the things that God is so that he can continue to bless you even more, right? So know that you're kind of capping your vision with the words that you say. And everything that you say, like, I'm still a ruby, or I'm still this, or I can't do that, or, oh, I wish I could mass enroll, or I wish I was at Adriana's rank of presidential. That would be great. Like, life would be swell. Okay, that's great. But why, instead of saying, like, I wish I could be there, why don't you say, like, God, I know you're going to lead me there. Show me how to get there. Ask him how to get there and have a conversation with him. And I promise he's going to lead the way. And it may not happen it's probably not going to happen on your timing, right? It's not going to happen tomorrow. It's not going to happen this month, but it's going to happen over time. And you're going to realize, holy cow, if I would have just given this to God sooner, who knows where my life would be? And everything's a journey. So just know that this moment going forward, you guys have so much power over your words and you have to speak positively over them. Okay. So, did you have anything else you wanted to say also about anything that I just said? I feel like I just rambled for so long.
Yes. I don't know if it has to do with what you said though. It was kind of like about discipline. So I feel like we talk a lot about like, you have to do this, you have to do that. But sometimes people are like, okay, well, how do I do it? So I'm just going to tell you like how I do it. So being disciplined, first of all, is a choice. And it's like training just like any other, just like an athlete trains. Everything that we do in life was because of a discipline that we started and it became like a routine and a habit, right? So, and also too, I'm not perfect at this. Like me and Haley, we're not perfect human beings. Like I'm still trying to work through my discipline with my relationship with God, because just as we have a very present God with us, there's also an opposing force that wants us to stay clear all things God. Do you know what I mean? So there is going to be distractions. There is going to be other things. There's going to be wanting to sleep in. There's going to be wanting to skip your devotional. You're going to not want to read your Bible. You're going to rather put on rap music rather than worship music sometimes. You're not going to always feel holy. You know what I mean? And I know I don't. And sometimes you have to push yourself and you have to be disciplined to do those things. And also too, something that I feel like is super important is don't make your time with God a checklist. Don't make it, oh, I have to do my devotions today and I have to read my Bible today, because I feel like at that point it's just pointless. Like when I open my Bible, I'm doing it because I genuinely want to get to know God better. I genuinely want him to get more of me. And I just want to grow our relationship. And I want to be in a place where I can hear from him and I can take my marching orders from him. And like I said, I haven't got it down perfect yet, but he knows that I want to and I'm trying. So what I would say, what I do every morning for a long time is, first thing I do is I walk my dog, because I live alone. So I have to do that. I walk my dog, I get my coffee ready, and I sit down here at my desk. First thing I do, and this might look different for you, first thing I do is I put on worship music. So I listen to at least 1 or 2 songs first, before I open my Bible, before I do anything, I want to get my mind right, get my mind like in the presence of God. Sometimes that'll turn into prayer just because you feel it. You know what I mean? Sometimes that'll turn into journaling, and that will turn into prayer. Sometimes it'll turn into reading your Bible, whatever it turns into. Maybe start with that. Ask God how you would like him to lead your day, what he would like for you to do. Pray. If you can't pray, journal. Sometimes, and I know life gets hard, and I know sometimes you can't pray, but I'm just advising you that even in the times where it's tough and you can't pray, say the name of Jesus. There's a song that's called Just Say Jesus. And in the song, it says, when you can't say anything, when you can't pray, you don't know what to do, just say the name. There is power in the name. So if you can't say anything, just say Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. Like, if that's all you can do, do it. And also too, just knowing that like the Bible is alive and active. It's the only book in the world that's alive. I don't know if you guys know, but they tried to burn this so many times, it won't go away. And this will be the only thing that stays for the rest of the time. This won't be destroyed. So it's alive, it's active. When you actually get into it, like he speaks to you through it, like being with God and doing life with God is so much better than not, because it's like a journey, and like it's something that I cannot explain, but when you commune with him, it's like joy. It's like you're flying. It's like an unexplainable peace. Things will start coming together. You'll start helping people. Like, it's just, I can't even describe to you. Like, it's just so good. I don't even know. You got to do it for yourself. Right, Haley? Like,
Yeah, and
there's
I literally
so much
love so
joy.
much that you just said, like, in like it's all in the journey. And that literally goes back to, he has the entire journey planned out for you. Why would you try to do it your way or try to do it by yourself? Because he's there. Like you said, you just got to open the door. So I love that so much. I love that. So good. I was gonna say that I also wanted to speak on this really quick. Is to, you were talking about like how like God like doesn't call the qualified, he qualifies the called. And I love this so much. I don't know if you guys have ever heard this, but I wrote it down because I didn't want to forget it. But I wrote down, remember that God called you. So when you quit on whoever he wants to reach through you. Quitting is so much bigger than you guys, because you're not only just quitting on yourself, but you're quitting on that one girl who was supposed to join your team and go diamond and finally be able to, move out of like her toxic environment and be able to live on her own and really do amazing things with her life. And like for me, I will never quit and I will never give up, because it's not just about me. It's about so many other people that I'm supposed to touch their lives, change their lives through God and what he has planned for me. So I'm never going to give up. I'm never walking out on this business. I know that I'm meant to be here through the end. And I know that so many people are a part of my journey. Like I said, it's not just about me anymore. So, it's generations after me that are getting yes. And it's not just me and my family's generations. It's, anybody's generations that I come across. And I think when you look at it that way, you never want to quit. You never want to give up. So in those times when you feel, like she said, you get up and you're just like, oh, like I don't really feel like led to play the music, and just turn it on, because you'll feel amazing and you'll start dancing around in your room and you're going to get so excited about where the day is going to lead you, because guess what? God woke you up today. He woke you up today and he's going to wake you up tomorrow so that you can live such an amazing life with this business and change as many lives as possible.
Yeah. I feel like I have something perfect to say after what you just said. I have it written down, so I'm going to read it to you. It was two ways that I feel like the enemy comes at us, and especially me in this past year that just passed. And I just wanted to share it with you guys. So it says the way the enemy likes to come in. He likes to make you think that your obedience and your disobedience will only affect you. And then I have, God called us to make him known. It's not just your life on the line. Your obedience can be connected to somebody's deliverance. And why this speaks so much to me, and like kind of like what Haley just said, is your obedience or disobedience, whatever it may be. Maybe your disobedience would be God is calling you to do something, you don't do it. And then your obedience would be actually doing it, right? So for me personally, I know you guys don't see me here on Zoom a lot, and I'll just be very vulnerable and open. I don't like talking. I don't like when people look at me. I don't like Zooms. I don't like speaking. When I'm talking to my friends, like when I'm talking to Haley, we talk about God all the time. We have conversations about Jesus all the time. We'll sit here for hours talking about Jesus. And she'd be like, Adriana, like that was so good. You should say that on a Zoom. And I'm like, no, thank you. And it's like, I don't want to do it. I don't like it. But this is a tactic from the enemy, because it just shows that like there's obviously something that's going to help another person. And my disobedience in not speaking, and I'll call myself out on this right now. I've been in this business for a long time. You probably guys have probably never seen me on a Zoom. My disobedience in not being here is not just about me. It's about other people. And it's like you said, God, we're called to make God known. And that's other people's lives on the line that I'm messing with. And I'm not willing to mess with that. Like maybe if it was me, sure. But once I heard that, I'm like, okay, game over. Like I have to say something now, because like, come on, like you guys are God's people. And like, I mean, for me, it's more important to have you guys hear it than myself. I hope that makes sense. Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%. And I
Okay.
love that. And honestly, like, I feel like in those moments where like God calls us to be brave, that's like the best moments. Like, that is the best. Like, that can be like your biggest victory in your whole life. And it was something that was said, I don't remember who said this, but somebody had said to me, did you ever realize that some of like your biggest messes could be like God's biggest messages? I was like, whoa, no. I was like, no, that's crazy. Like everything is a learning lesson. And to show you that, you are meant for more, and you are meant to, speak on this Zoom, or, be a part of this Zoom. Just the fact that you said at the beginning, like the fact that you guys are here and listening is huge. God called us to do this. God called you on this Zoom. And the fact that you're here, your life is forever changed now. And that's so incredible, even to just know. And so I don't want you guys to, leave this Zoom and be like, oh, that was great. Like, yes, so good. And then nothing comes of it, right? It is your chance now to be disciplined, and now you know better, right? And when you know better, you do better. So just know that you know so much now after this Zoom, and now you can go forward and you can actually, when you feel called, or when you feel like, okay, God is actually like trying to speak through me, that I should probably reach out to this person, or I feel like I should, really turn on the worship music and really start to get to work and get my mindset better, do it, because you are going to be so much better for it, and you're stepping into the destined version of yourself that you're supposed to be. So, do you have anything you want to add, babe?
No, I just feel like if you guys can take anything away from this, obviously be consistent, be disciplined, not only with your business, but with like seeking the Lord and seeking his face first. Make sure you give him your first, having vision, like Haley said. But also something I just wanted to say, a relationship with God is not transactional. So I hope that's clear. It's not, I want to go ambassador, so let me have a relationship with God. Like God loves you personally. He knows you deeply. He knows everything about you. As Haley said in the beginning, he knit you together in your mother's womb. He knew you before you took your first breath. He knew you were going to be on this Zoom right now. He knows where you're going to be tomorrow. That's what it's about. It's about a real relationship. And if you don't know what to say, talk to him. This is what I used to say to people in the beginning when I first got to know God, because I didn't even know how to pray. People be like, how do I pray? What do I do? I don't even know. Does it need to be fancy? Do I have to say fancy things? Talk to God as if he was your earthly father. So if you have an earthly father, or you don't, you never had that in your life, how would you talk to your best friend? You would call them on the phone, you would get to know them. If you didn't talk to your friend in a while, like when you got together, you'd have to catch up, right? Like you guys, to have a relationship, you need to be in constant communication. So that's the same thing with God, and talk to him as if he's your best friend, as if he is your dad. I literally talk to God all the time. I talk to him like in casual conversation. So it doesn't always have to be fancy. You just have to be willing to open up that relationship with him, and he'll meet you where you are, wherever that is.
I love that so much. And I hope you guys took like even just one thing away from this Zoom. Drop a one if you took anything from this Zoom. And please, let's give Adriana some love. I am so, so grateful that you got on tonight. You spoke so much life into me and gave me chills. I've got chills. I am so, so excited to see all of you do such amazing things all this entire year. And I'm just so, so excited just to obviously get to know all of you even more, because I saw so many of you had gone through things that me and Adriana have gone through. And just know that the more you share your story, the more people are going to, understand you and relate to you more. And they're going to see God working in your life, and they're going to want to get to know him too. So don't be afraid to share your story. And just know that we are so proud of you guys, and we're so grateful that you guys hopped on. We love you guys so much, and I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your night. Thank you again, Adriana. You're the best. Okay. Bye, guys.